Kishane Thompson just did something that no sprinter in history has ever done. For a moment, just stop comparing times. Just look at what actually happened. Kishane Thompson stepped onto a track, ran a curved to straight 150 meters against a 200-meter world finalist, beat him, and did something no sprinter in history has ever done before. Literally no one. Not even Usain Bolt, not Tyson Gay, and Noah Lyles. And I am not talking about the number on the clock. I am talking about the combination. If you focus on numbers, you are going to miss the real story. And the real story is something we have never seen before in this sport. Let me take you back to the Miramar Invitational. Kishane Thompson, fresh off a world indoor silver medal in the 60 meters, one of the most competitive sprint finals we have seen in years, decides to open his outdoor season with a 150-meter race. But not the 150 you are thinking of. Not the straight line exhibition version that Usain Bolt ran in Manchester. Not the temporary track setup with the massive tailwind. No. This 150 started on a curve and finished on a straight. That almost never happens. And the man standing next to him was Courtney Lindsay, a 200-meter world and Olympic finalist. A man whose entire professional identity is built on running the curve and holding his speed longer than anyone else. So the gun goes off. Thompson explodes out of the blocks. No surprise there. That is what he does. He is a lion out of the gates. But here is where history starts to happen. Everyone expected Lindsay to eventually pull away. Everyone expected somewhere around the 80 or 90 meter mark, the 200-meter specialist would shift gears, Thompson would start to feel the distance, and the narrative would play out exactly the way it always has. Thompson leads early. Thompson gets caught late. That has been the story of his career. That has been the one thing everyone says about him. Explosive start, incredible top speed, dies in the last 20 meters, cannot close, cannot win the big one. Except that is not what happened. Thompson did not just get out well, he held on. He held on through the curve, through the transition onto the straight, through every meter where people said he would fade. And when the clock stopped, it read 14.92. Lindsay was right there at 14.95, 14.96. A razor-thin margin. But Thompson won, and that is when the announcers started talking about a world record. But forget the world record for a minute. Forget the quotation marks. Forget the arguments about whether it counts or not. Here is what no one is saying. No sprinter in history has ever done what Kishane Thompson just did. Think about it. Has anyone ever run a competitive curve to straight 150 meters against a world-class 200-meter specialist and won? Not Bolt, not Gay, not Lyles. Bolt ran his famous 14.35 in Manchester against Simeon Williamson and Marlon Devonish. Good sprinters, yes, but not 200-meter world finalists. Not men whose entire careers are built on the exact skill set that Thompson was testing himself against. Bolt was running against the clock. Thompson was running against a man who has stood on the biggest stages in the world in the 200 meters, and Thompson beat him. That specific scenario has never happened before, and Thompson won. But it goes deeper than that. Has any sprinter in history ever used a 150-meter race as a direct answer to their biggest criticism? Every track fan knows the knock on Thompson. He fades, he gets caught, he cannot close. Name another sprinter who looked at that criticism and said, you know what, I am going to run a distance I never run, off a curve I rarely run, against a specialist in that exact skill set, just to prove you wrong.
I don't think Noah is as crazy.
I think everybody sees the world record as one, as incredible, and two, as I want that to be me.
How long do you think it'll take for somebody to surpass Bolt's time in the 100 meters?
I'm trying to get it done as soon as possible.
That is not normal. That is not what athletes do. Athletes protect their weaknesses. They hide them. They run events that make them look good. They avoid situations that might expose them. Thompson ran an event designed to expose him. He ran it in public. He ran it against the worst possible matchup for his skill set, and he won. That is historically unique. I cannot think of another sprinter who has done something like that. Not once, not ever. And here is the third layer that makes this truly unprecedented. Thompson just did three things at once. He ran a time that got called a world record. He ran an event configuration that has no official record book. And he quieted the loudest criticism of his entire career, all in one race, in one weekend, at a random invitational in Florida. Name another sprinter who has done that. You cannot, because it has never happened. Most sprinters spend years trying to fix one thing, Thompson just addressed his biggest weakness in front of everyone, while simultaneously putting a number on the board that made people say the words world record, while also beating a specialist in his own backyard. That is not a normal race. That is a statement. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You are thinking, but Bolt ran 14.35. That is almost 0.6 faster than 14.92. And you are right. Bolt ran 14.35. Tyson Gay ran 14.41. Noah Lyles ran 14.41. Those times are significantly faster than what Thompson just ran. I am not sitting here telling you Thompson is faster than Bolt. He is not. Bolt is the greatest who ever lived. That conversation is closed. It has been closed for years, but that is not the argument. The argument is about the combination of circumstances. Bolt never ran a curve to straight 150 against a 200-meter finalist to prove he could close. He never had to. He was already the king. He was already the world record holder in the 100 and 200. He had nothing to prove. Thompson is running uphill. He is fighting a narrative. He is proving something. That is different. And that difference matters more than the numbers on the clock. Think about what this race actually means for Thompson going forward. For 2 years, the entire track world has said the same thing. He is the most physically gifted sprinter of his generation. He has raw speed that scares everyone. He has run 9.77. He has led world finals at 60 meters, but he cannot finish. He cannot hold it together when it matters most. That narrative just took a direct hit. A 150 against a 200-meter specialist is an endurance test. It is a closing test. It is exactly the kind of race that should expose someone who fades in the final meters. And Thompson passed it. He did not tie up. He did not get run down. He held his form. He held his ground. He held his nerve. So here is the real question. What if Kishane Thompson has fixed his finish? What if the one thing everyone said was broken is no longer broken? Because if that is true, if he has actually figured out how to close, then the sprint world has a serious problem. Right now, the only thing keeping other sprinters in the conversation is Thompson's last 20 meters. Noah Lyles knows it. Oblique Seville knows it. Every 100-meter finalist on the planet knows it. Take that weakness away, and what are you left with? You are left with a man who already has more raw speed than anyone in his generation. You are left with a man who has already proven he can show up on the biggest stages. You are left with a man who just looked a 200-meter world finalist in the eye and said, I can go longer than you think. That is why this race matters. Not because of a world record with quotation marks. Not because of a number that will get argued about on social media for the next 2 weeks. It matters because Kishane Thompson just did something no sprinter in history has ever done. He took his biggest weakness, turned it into a public challenge, and walked away with a win. That is not about times. That is not about record books. That is about heart. And that is why this race is more important than any exhibition Bolt ever ran. Bolt was confirming what we already knew. Thompson is becoming something we did not expect. And if you are not paying attention, you are going to miss it. Because the Kishane Thompson we see next season might not be the same one we have been criticizing. He might be the one doing the catching. And good luck to everyone else when that day comes.